I am down 70 pounds on Mounjaro. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, my name is Mary and welcome back to my channel. If you guys have been following me a while, you will know that I have not updated you guys in about 2 months. I think the last time I updated was mid-September, and it's not because I don't care about this channel. It's just that I don't always know what to post on here. If you don't remember, the reason I created this channel was because we thought that TikTok was going to be going away, and I wanted to have a secondary location where I could connect with people about weight loss and health and GLP-1s and all of that stuff. So I came to YouTube because YouTube is one of my favorite places in the world. But since TikTok has not disappeared, I've stayed active over there and I haven't really posted much here. But I need to change that because there are a few of you that do follow me through YouTube, and I want to make sure that we stay in contact with each other. And I apologize because my dog is being loud in the background and my microphone is not working today. So we're gonna make it work. Well, as I said in my intro, I have lost another 10 pounds since the last time I spoke to you guys. I am down about 70 pounds. I say about because I am currently fluctuating between about 67 pounds to 71 pounds. Down, it just kind of keeps fluctuating. In case you couldn't tell, I am in a stall. And that's kind of what I wanted to get on here and talk about. I'm also dealing with some pretty serious health issues. And so I thought it was a good time to update you guys since I actually have things going on. But last time I spoke to you guys, I was still on Mounjaro 7.5. I have been on the 7.5 dose for about 5.5 months now, and it has been fabulous. My blood sugar has been testing in normal ranges most of the time. It is teetering a little bit on the edge of pre-diabetic. At least it was last month when I went to see my doctor. And so we had a conversation because I did stall out on the 7.5 with weight loss. I've been bouncing those same 2 to 3 pounds back and forth for maybe like 6 weeks or so. And I've been doing all the things you're supposed to do, drinking the water, protein, staying in my calorie count, moving as much as I can, which we will talk about here in a minute, and trying to do the best I can to break the stall, and nothing has been working. It's been really frustrating, but when I went and saw my doctor about a month ago, we had a conversation of, do we go up a dose or do we stay on the current 7.5? And we both agreed at the time not to go up because it was just a normal stall, in our opinion. I was only like a couple weeks into the stall. My blood sugar was doing really well, so we made the decision to change the diet up a little bit and to add just a little bit more protein into the mix. Basically cut out most of the carbs, for not all because you can't, but most of the carbs, just trying to incorporate a little bit of movement into the mix. So we were going to stay on 7.5 until December and then regroup when I went for my December visit. Many of you who have been following me on TikTok also know that this has been a fabulous year. I had a great lesson on my lymphedema. So I have lymphedema from my ovarian cancer. Usually in the summer and in the fall, I deal with pretty bad flare-ups of my lymphedema. My leg gets very, very swollen. I have a hard time. I'm usually going to occupational therapy for lymphatic massages 2 to 3 times per week, which gets very costly. My copay is like $35 per visit. So if you're going 2 to 3 times per week, it adds up very quickly. I was online looking for ways that I could potentially help myself to have less flare-ups this summer, and I saw the benefits of water. So I did buy myself a cheap Intex pool, which I believe I showed you guys earlier this year on my channel. I think I did a video about it. Hold on, let me check. I did, actually. It was like 4 months ago when I was in the midst of summer. I couldn't remember it because it's been so long since I've been on this channel. But yes, I did show you guys my pool, and I did the pool. And then in September, when really end of August, when the weather started basically tanking here in Indiana, we had a very cold August, and September was cold as well. But I ended up getting myself a hot tub, and with the recommendation of my doctor, I was able to use the hot tub at a lower temperature. I kept it between 95 and 98 degrees. I was able to get in there, and that kept the lymphedema under control. And I basically have had that under control until earlier this week when I took my hot tub down. I was planning originally to keep the hot tub going for as much of the winter as I could, but it is an inflatable. So I knew that when I got to the worst of winter, I was going to have to take it down. But my goal was to get as far into the winter as possible before taking it down. But unfortunately, I'm dealing with some pretty serious health complications that required me to take the hot tub down sooner than I would have wanted to, and I have been without a hot tub for a week and a half now. Let's just say the lymphedema is flaring. So it's good to know though that the pool and the hot tub helped as much as they did, because I know next summer what my action plan should be. You know, I was telling everybody, because they were like, I can't believe you bought a pool and then you spent like $400, $300. It was like $300 with accessories. It was like $400 on a hot tub. That's ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, but add up the copays that I was paying. It was cheaper for me to put up my little Intex pool that was like $130 or something, and to put up this hot tub than it was for me to pay all the copays and doctor's visits. So this ended up being a good choice for me, and I have a good action plan in place for next summer. I told my sister, as soon as it gets warm enough, like April-ish, I'm putting the hot tub back up, and then at the end of May, Memorial Weekend, we'll put the pool back up, and we'll just keep this going, because it was life-changing to not have lymphedema flare-ups this year. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some of the health complications I'm having, because that is really the big conversation in this 70-pound-ish weight loss. I developed a belly button infection about 2 months ago. That is not shocking for someone of my size. Even though I'm down 70 pounds, I still weigh 300. Well, this morning I was 382.5. So I'm quite large, okay? So even with all of my weight loss, I'm quite large. It is not uncommon for larger people to end up with infections in the summer with their fat rolls, your belly button, any area you have that is creased, dark area that gets sweaty. You can end up with yeast infections. It's pretty common. A lot of people in the summer that are larger like me will put like after shower powder, like bath powder down there, and place gauze pads or fabric and things in their rolls, because they know they'll put deodorant down there. They'll do whatever they have to do to kind of keep things at bay. Unfortunately, I think the combination of a heat wave that we had combined with being in the hot tub, which was wet, and I would stay in the hot tub for 20-30 minutes. And even though I was trying my best with using antibacterial soap and using a hair blower on cool to blow dry and putting powder in there and all of that, I got what I thought was a yeast infection. So I treated it like I would treat any other yeast infection I have dealt with in my obese state. And it got better. And then a week later, it came back. Well, again, it cleared up the second time. So when it did, I got back in and I tried getting in less times. A week later, it came back. So then I thought, okay, maybe something's wrong with the hot tub water. So let me drain my water out and disinfect and start fresh. Maybe I have infection in the water, right? Like I do my best to keep it sanitized. Maybe I did something wrong. So I drain it, I clean it, I refill it with fresh water, get all the chemicals balanced. And once again, the infection clears up. And 3 days later, fresh water in the hot tub, it comes back. And it is just a recurrent infection. So I go and see my doctor, and he says, well, it's probably not a yeast infection. It's probably bacterial, because, you know, people have streptococcus and all that on their skin. It could just be a bacterial infection. So he prescribed me antibiotics and an antibiotic cream that I took for 7 days, and it went away for about 4 days. And then it came back, and we did another round of antibiotics, and it went away for 3 days, 4 days. And then when it came back this week, I knew it was starting up again. And again, I stopped the hot tub at that point. I was like, I'm out of it. I'm not going to be in it anymore, because obviously the hot tub is causing problems, right? So I put the lid on the hot tub, I leave it alone, and I'm like, let's see if we can get this. Let's just stay out until the infection is gone, and it's been gone for a while. So long story short, I noticed on Monday of this week, it's currently Friday, that I've got drainage starting again. And I'm like, great. So we have another round of infection going on. So I treat it like I do every other infection I've had going. I have leftover cream, started treating it with cream. On Tuesday morning, for some reason, I was feeling a lot of pain there, and I was like, I need to be done with the hot tub. So I went out and I drained my hot tub, true story, drained the hot tub, rolled it into the garage so that it could start air drying, because it's inflatable, you gotta let it air dry, and was getting ready to go start work for the day. And my belly button started gushing blood. And I was like, oh my God. So I packed it full gauze. I got through the first few work meetings of the day because they were important meetings. I couldn't cancel them. And I ended up taking my last meeting of the day and moving it to a different time. And I went to the urgent care because I was unable to get in to see my regular primary care doctor. And the urgent care looked in there and was like, so your belly button has reopened. Now, apparently, because if you're like me, I was like, excuse me, what? So apparently, if your hernia is bad enough and it causes enough pressure on that section of your umbilical area, it can cause an abscess. The abscess can bust open and it can cause you to have a hole there. It basically causes it to reopen what closed as you were a baby. It is not common, but it can happen. So the doctor was explaining to me that early on in my infection, it probably was healing on its own. Like what I was doing was probably working, but what was happening was it would scab over and I would think it's healed because obviously I cannot see down in my belly. I'm not looking down in my belly button, right? With the hernia and everything hanging over. I'm not looking. And so I can't see that there's a scab in there. I just know that it's not draining. It's not as sore. So it must be healed, in my opinion. So I would get in the hot tub, but the hot water from the hot tub would then loosen the scab, which would cause another round of drainage and infection, and then that would heal up. So basically, I was my own worst enemy by getting into the hot tub. But again, I didn't know that I was causing a problem with it. And my doctor told me, hey, once the drainage is done, you can get back in the hot tub. So neither one of us put two and two together until this last time when finally, because it had been infected and open for so long that it just caused a hole. So now I basically have a giant wound where my belly button is. It's reopened. I'm on very heavy antibiotics right now. And I'm also doing creams and powders and sticking gauze up there and all of that. And essentially, I have been referred to a surgeon because the doctor told me this is going to be recurrent. Because of how my hernia sits, for those of you who don't know, when I was at my heaviest, when I was 450 pounds, essentially, my lower fat roll would hold up the hernia. And so I actually had less pain from my hernia when I was at my highest weight because my fat rolls were holding it in place. But now that I've lost 70 pounds, my lower fat roll has shrunk. And because of that, my hernia now hangs over the lower fat roll. So there is no air getting into what's left of my belly button because part of it's popped out from the hernia and the other part is hanging on by a thread, apparently. It's going to be recurrent. Until the hernia is fixed, I'm going to have infections there. And how long can you fight recurrent infections and be on antibiotics? It's not safe. It's not healthy. And so the doctor was telling me that you can do a surgery that just removes your belly button and that I needed to consult with a surgeon because some surgeons will want to do the whole surgery at one point. Some, because of the recurrent infections and the risk that I'm taking by having recurrent infections, they may go in and just remove the belly button, which would be less invasive than an actual hernia repair. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't have high hopes, and I don't have high hopes because I have been shot down by so many surgeons, including very well-known top surgeons at major Chicago hospitals have said, hey, you're too fat for surgery, you're too high risk, and we're not going to do that difficult of a surgery because of your weight. And I don't want to do a surgery that is going to kill me, obviously. I want to be as safe as I possibly can be. But also, I'm in a lot of pain. The recurrent infections are really bringing me down. I am tired all the time. The antibiotics have my stomach messed up. I just don't feel good ever at this point. If the doctor is willing to try a surgery, I think that I'm willing to take the risk. And I hate that because I don't want anything to happen to me. And I love my family so much that the last thing I want to do is to put them in a situation where I am dead or put in a situation where like I'm in a nursing home or I have a stroke or, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to put them in any kind of stressful situation like that. But I know for me personally, when it comes to the quality of life, I don't ever have a good day. Like I'm in pain all the time. I think it's a risk that I'm willing to take, but I obviously want to discuss with a surgeon if it's even an option. But between all of us, I have a really good feeling that they're going to tell me no again. I do know that my original surgeon, the one from University of Chicago that I was speaking to, said that they would do hernia surgery if I got my BMI under 40, and I am at 52. So in order to get down to a BMI of 40, I think I would have to be like, what, 300 pounds? Hold on, let me do the math on that because I don't know. Okay, so like 290 would, somewhere in the 290s would put me around 40 BMI, right? Like if I was at 300, I would be 40.68. 295 would be 40 exactly. So I need to lose like another 90 pounds before I'm at the BMI that he wants me at. It took me this long to lose 70. Like you're talking like another year, another year easily. If my weight loss continues at the rate that it currently is, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Like, I mean, I have to do what I have to do, right? I have to do what I have to do, but I don't know that my body is going to hold on for another year of playing with this hernia because it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and worse, and the pain is worse, and now I'm getting infections. I don't know how much longer my body is going to do this. And so I think it may come down to me doing a surgery that's risky, and that terrifies me because I fought so hard that I don't want to be taken out by surgery, but also I don't want to be taken out by infection either, because recurrent infection can also take you out. I mean, it's your belly button. Do you know how easy it is to go into like sepsis or something? I don't know. It's been a week, so I see a surgeon on Wednesday. I will know more. I don't have high hopes, but I will consult. I'm hoping that maybe they can do the belly button removal, because at least that would lessen the infection part of it, and then maybe I could make it with the hernia for, you know, a few more months or a year or whatever. But yeah. Part 2 of all of this is because I'm dealing with an infection and all of the antibiotics and just all of the things that are going on, my blood sugar has gone from being steadily normal range to occasionally pre-diabetic to now jumping up to like around 200. My doctor told me that that was normal because of the infection, that's just the body's reaction, because I'm a type 2 diabetic. It's the reaction of the body to jump up that high, and that is with me being on a low carb, high protein diet. You know, to think that I'm still that high and I've made major dietary changes is really frustrating, but it is what it is. So long story short, so they moved me up to Mounjaro 10.0 today. I took my first dose this morning with breakfast, and I'm really hoping that I do not have side effects, because I already feel like poop due to the antibiotics that I'm on currently. Week 4 of antibiotics, but yeah, I really hope that I don't have side effects, because I already don't feel good. But it is what it is. We're moving up to 10.0. Mostly because they want to see if they can get my blood sugar to come down a little more, and also to jumpstart the weight loss. Because again, at this point, getting to a weight where I can have surgery is the priority, right? I cannot be stalled for 6 weeks, which is what even with dietary changes, nothing's happening, which again, when I went to my weight loss clinic, they were like, this is also because your body is fighting the infection, so it doesn't have time to worry about losing weight. You know what I mean? They're like, your body's going through it right now, and so it's holding on to weight, but I don't need to be holding on to weight. So I was like, you know what? Sign me up for 10.0. And also, we're trying this because, to be honest with you guys, I don't want to be taking insulin shots, and I do not want to take metformin. If you have never been on metformin, metformin tears you up. My stomach is already tore up from the antibiotics. I don't need to add metformin to it. Let's just say that you will poop your pants on metformin. It tears you up. And not only do you have like poop issues, but you also will have like heartburn and nausea. And I'm like, I can't. Like, I have to work. I already don't feel good because of this stupid hernia. I'm on antibiotics already. Like, I cannot do metformin. And I really don't want to do insulin. If I have to do insulin, I'll do insulin, but I really don't want to do insulin. So I was like, you know what? Let's just try the 10.0. Let's see if it brings my blood sugar down. As the infection clears, that should also bring my blood sugar down. And then hopefully I will lose some weight. That's my doom and gloom. I have not updated you guys because it has been kind of doom and gloom lately. I'm really sad. I don't have my hot tub. I'm questioning. I put the hot tub away. I took it down today because I let it air out for several days. And I put it in the box, but I actually told my sister, I'm like, unless I get this belly button or the hernia fixed, I probably shouldn't get in it next year, because it seems to me like the warm water was the culprit of my belly button issues. I let my workplace know because I was like, I don't know what's going on. And like, I have a bunch of pop-up doctor's appointments. I guarantee you the surgeon's going to want a CT scan. So yay for the freaking CT scan. And then whatever happens from there. So like, I am half preparing for potentially being down for surgery here in a few weeks, and also half preparing for not being down for surgery in a few weeks. And then something that's a little morbid, but I think is worth talking about. I've talked about this a few times. I even did a TikTok about it once, and I did a video on my other channel about it. Because of everything that is going on in my life right now with my health, if you have not put into plan what your wishes are for your end of life, I highly recommend that you do so. There are online things that you can download. There are binders and workbooks that you can buy on Amazon. I will show you an example of something I bought. This may be backwards on the screen for you, but basically it's a binder. It's got like a, it's got rings in it. It just says, I'm dead, now what? And inside it has all the information that your family needs to know. Now, I do have this partially filled out, but I actually, because of how much information I wanted to include, I started a spreadsheet that I'm going to print out for my family, and it has everything they need to know, but not just if I die, what they need to know, but also what they need to do if I become incapacitated. So I have things like, how do you get in contact with my boss? Like if I have a stroke, for example, or if I end up in rehab and I have to go to like a nursing home for a few months or something, this is what you need to know about how to contact my boss, how to get FMLA, how I have short-term disability and long-term disability, what bills need to be paid, how do you care for Rudy, what things in the house do you need to know, all of that kind of stuff. It also has on here what to do if I die. Where do I want to be buried? What do I want my funeral to be like? Do I want to be cremated? Do I not want to be cremated? And then I also included a section that was like end of life decisions. So things like, do I want to be resuscitated? In what circumstances do I not want to be resuscitated? Do I want mechanical ventilation? What does quality of life look like for me? You know, the questions that are really, really difficult to answer. And also like any important documentation, like my life insurance policies, like all of that stuff I have now compiled, and I'm going to finish working through them this weekend because, again, I could be going for surgery, and realistically, I am high risk for the surgery that I'm going to be doing, even if it is just belly button removal. So I need to make sure that I have my affairs in order. That's morbid, but I highly recommend that at any age that you at least have your funeral plans. Like, make sure that your family understands what you want, and have the conversation of like, do you want to be an organ donor? Do you not? Do you want to be on a ventilator? Do you not? Like, those are the discussions that nobody wants to have, but I think it's so important that you do have, because you don't want to be in a situation where something happens and then your family is left trying to make decisions on your behalf and they don't know what you would have wanted them to do. I love life. I love being here. Life is the most beautiful gift that every single one of us takes for granted. And I learned that the hard way when I went through my cancer experience. I am cancer free now. Can you guys believe it? For 8 years. 8 years. And I learned that every single day you have is even the bad days, even the days where you're like, I hate everybody and I just want to crawl into a hole. I am so happy and blessed to be above ground. And I know I didn't feel like that for a long time because depression got me, but also the more weight I lose, the better my attitude is, the better I feel. Like, I truly think a lot of my depression was me just being unhappy with the body that I was in, because I am in such a better mood now. And I love my life. I have so many dreams and accomplishments and places I want to travel and things I want to do. And I don't want to go anywhere. I want to be here. But I'll let you guys know. I mean, I might do a short update next week just so you guys have an update on what's going on. But yeah, that's what's going on. So what about you guys? How are you? How is life treating you? What have you been up to for the last couple of months? Are there any big wins that you're excited about? Tell me all about it. I can't wait to hear from you. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.